It is Friday, September 21st, 2018. It's time for the Week 15 CFL predictions on V10 Sports. So let's get into this. 2 weeks ago, I went 4-0 on my picks. I did really well. Last week, 0-3. Picked all the home teams, and they all lost. Sorry, I don't know. Or I might have did the opposite. I might have picked all the road teams, and they all... No, I picked all the home teams, and they all lost. Montreal lost, Hamilton lost, Saskatchewan lost. They all lost. So this week, Montreal at Winnipeg. Manziel gets his starting job back. Guess what? The Antonio Pipkin experiment is over because he was playing. While he was playing, they won because the defense was playing really well. So Pipkin was steadying the ship. Pipkin did a good job. He didn't do too much. Nice little game manager, could run the ball, mobile. Did a good job. But when they needed a quarterback to win them the game, Pipkin's not necessarily the guy. So they're going to put Manziel back as the starter. Johnny Manziel, who has been cleared to play, I guess, for 3 weeks, and he was the backup last week, and he wasn't super happy about that, is now going to be the starter this week. Montreal at Winnipeg. Winnipeg is favored by 11. It's in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. Nichols hasn't played real well lately either. In fact, I think Streveler got into the game a little bit more than he probably should have last week. Streveler. I mean, it's like Nichols was 10 of 20 last week. He had 3 interceptions and only 165 yards. Streveler, I mean, he wasn't much better. He was the same 10 of 20, 160 yards. He had 2 interceptions, threw a touchdown pass. So it's not like Streveler's much better. The team threw 5 interceptions last week. Winnipeg can't continue to play like that. At 5-7, they still have a chance to make the playoffs and still make some noise. This is a team over the last 2 years that's had 12-win seasons and 11 wins, 12-win season and 11-win season. So there's good players on this team. So I know Montreal is going to have Manziel back. Unfortunately, I think Winnipeg will finally break the losing streak, and I think Winnipeg will take this game. Montreal's defense has been playing a lot better over the last month, but I think Winnipeg really needs this win. Unless Johnny just lights it up, and he could. We haven't seen Johnny for 3 weeks, so we don't know what he's learned and what he's picked up and what he's doing. But he's missed some practices and things of that nature. But this week, I guess he's been in the whole time, playing with the firsts. So I see Montreal making this a good game, but I still think Winnipeg will win it. You're going to have Edmonton at Ottawa. Edmonton, they both have the same record, but of course Edmonton is second with their 7-5, and Ottawa is first with their 7-5. Ottawa is still. I still don't know what to think of that team. I just don't. I don't know what to think. Sometimes they don't play so well, and Powell doesn't run the ball very well, and it just kind of drives you nuts. And then Powell has games like he did last week where he ran for 148 yards, and Harris throws the ball extremely well, and they beat a pretty good team in Saskatchewan. So it's not like Saskatchewan was a scrub team. They beat a good team on their home turf. Now Ottawa is at home facing Edmonton, who's coming over to their house. We all know Riley's one of the best in the league. Harris played really well last week. Powell played really well last week. Will that continue? Ottawa doesn't need this win as much as Edmonton. Edmonton knows that they've got to keep winning to keep pace with Calgary. I'm going to take Edmonton in this game. Gut feeling. I'm just going to take Edmonton to win this game. Saskatchewan at Toronto. Toronto still going with McLeod Bethel-Thompson. They had a week off. I'm usually a fan of the team that has the week off because they get plenty of time to prepare. But I think Toronto is outmatched by Saskatchewan. I know that Toronto is going to be using a lot more of Duron Carter, but I'm still going to take Saskatchewan in this game. I think Caleros should be able to right the ship, unless he's hurt again, which seems to be a problem for him. But I really do think that this is going to be one of those things where Caleros will Collaros will right the ship again, and he'll do fine. So I'm not really super worried about anything that Collaros is doing. He didn't have a great game last week. 10 of 27, had 162 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Got a phone call. Don't know who it's from because it was not identified. So I don't like that. I won't answer those calls. So I'm still going to go with Saskatchewan, who's getting 3 points over Toronto. I think Saskatchewan might win by a little bit more than that. Deron Carter is a pretty good player. He's going to get more playing time, but I think Saskatchewan's a better team. Then we got the last game on Saturday, which is Hamilton at BC. This game, Hamilton needed to win last week. And Hamilton is still showing me it's one of those teams that it's like, you just don't know where they are. Are they a team that can go to the next level and become a title contender? Or are they just one of those teams that's going to be a mid-pack kind of a team that's going to get, maybe 7 to 9 wins every year, maybe 10, but are they just going to be one of those they have a really good game when everything's clicking, and then the next week nothing works and they're bad again because there's no consistency? And with Hamilton, I see just a lot of missed opportunities with consistency. They're not consistent. So BC 4-5 played really well last week. It's in BC. Hamilton is favored in this game, but I just don't know. BC is 4-1 at home. So Hamilton has to travel all the way across the country to go to Vancouver. I'm going to take BC. More of a gut pick than anything else. There's a little part of me that says Hamilton, of course, is the better team, but I think BC being at home, Hamilton having to go cross country to go visit them, I'm going to give a little bit of an edge to BC. Plus, BC is a lot more. I just think Hamilton's not consistent. Hamilton can win just about. I always feel like Hamilton can win any game with Masoli at the helm, and then they don't. They have games where they just don't play well, and they have games where I think, well, they're not playing well, so I'm not going to pick them to win, and then they play great, and they win because I picked them to lose. So I'm hoping maybe I went undefeated 2 weeks ago, totally defeated last week. Maybe I'll go 2-2 this week and kind of start to right the ship a little bit. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. And with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.